everyone! Running just a tad late. So, let's see who joins in. I will hold off for just a second here. Or two. Actually, I will take care of my messy blocks here for a minute while I'm waiting to see who might show up. I know this is kind of impromptu and crazy and such, but I will get into that here in a second. Oh. It was just been kind of a crazy, wild week. And so, yes. My area has become a mess. It's one of those things where it's like come and dump. Everything goes on my desk, and I've actually had to clear it off pretty good so that way I could do this video, or this, not really video, a live video. It'll turn into a video here in a minute when all is said and done. Oh. So, I have my coffee, and let me see if I can get this in without spilling my coffee. Oh, maybe I can't. My Stampin' Up! Mug. I love it. It goes with me. It's perfect. It keeps my stuff like really nice and hot, so I like that. Anywho, so let me get started by first saying I want to apologize for Mother Nature, because Mother Nature once again decided to give us a not so fun driving day on a Saturday. So, once again, because last week I had my wiggle worm class that I had to cancel for Saturday because we were in a winter weather warning, which we got like next to almost nothing, it seems like, for snow. And the next day it was pretty much gone, and I see green grass popping up. But so I ended up canceling my wiggle worm class. But here, let me see. So for my classes, I like to do a simple card, just to get our muscles working and get thinking like stamping. Oh, this is why I wanted to use a different tape. So the simple card that I started off with Wiggle Worm, because I'll show you this stuff, because I don't know how many people are familiar with card classes, or I run mine just kind of a little bit different, because I like to start off with a simple card, get our Stampin' muscles moving, and then move on to a kind of harder card, and then a fun fold card. Well, this was our simpler stamping card. It's not, I don't think it would be considered, well, yeah, it could be considered complete simple stamping, saying the fact that it is just paper and stamps and ink. I do have the layer, I layered the white on the Night of Navy, because this was just to kind of show off the Wiggle Worm a little bit better. And look at him, he's so cute. So I made him in a couple of different ways. So this is him stamped in the garden green and colored in with the blender pen. And this is a blender pen. And this is my go-to. As you can see, it's really well used. It's really simple with the blender pens, if you're a newbie, to change whatever ink colors you have into a marker. So that's really easy for coloring and such. So this was my simple stamping. I stamped him, this one I stamped him in the garden green and colored him in. And then this one is the stamped stamped him in StazOn and colored him in with garden green. Because I wasn't sure how the garden green was going to react to coloring in. Just for the fact that there's that whole, they say opposites attract when it comes to stamp pads and coloring in. So like if you're going to color in something that you're using the coloring in as being an alcohol like based marker, like the blends, you want to use a Memento or a water-based ink to stamp your images. So I was like, yeah, I'll just play around with it and see what happens. And I did end up having to pull off more of the garden green off of my palette, so to speak, to color him in. So it worked out pretty well. I think it's pretty cute. And so this one I did first, and I tried 5 clouds, and I thought 3 looks a little bit better. So that's what I went with. Also used a sponge and some Night of Navy ink. I'm doing the Night of Navy ink to go around and sponge around the edge. So that was the first card. Second card was a little bit stepped up. And so this one is got layering. It's got the dimensionals on there. It's got quite a few paper. It's got the sponging technique for the background. And of course the bugs are colored in with the off of the palette. And the it also involves die cuts for this one. So it's a little bit of a step up, and I think it's really cute. And so then finally, like I said, we do our fun folds. And let me tell you something, I will totally admit the fact that I saw these cards on Pinterest and I saw cards like this on YouTube, and I just thought, I will never be able to do that. I thought it takes a 12 by 12 piece of cardstock. I thought it was going to be too difficult for me. But I was wrong, as usually I am. And I underestimated myself. But this is the box card that I made using the Wiggle Worm. And I also added in the Little Ladybug Host Celebration set to add some extra little things to this. Look at that little guy. He's just having so much fun. And so I will be talking more about the little ladybug here in just a minute. But it also deals with die cuts, and I die cut the grass, and I die cut the little critters and the mushrooms and such. And I thought that this just turned out to be a really cute card. And I just had to show it to you because it's like I was thinking, oh my gosh, it's going to be so hard to do something like that. And in reality, the crumb cake piece, which is the base to this card, is the same exact size as your normal cards. My 8.5 by 5.5. So I am so kicking myself for thinking that this was going to be too hard. And it all folds up. You're like, wait a second, how do you mail that? It all folds up nice and flat, and it can go into your regular size envelope. So that is what I did. And I thought that was just super fun, and I hope that my attendees thought that that was fun too. I have Saturday night classes, or Saturday afternoon classes, and then I have Monday night classes. So my Saturday night people were able to fit into my Monday night so that they could still make their cards, because, yeah. So, like I had promised, I was going to talk about a little bit more about the Little Ladybug stamp set. Look at that. Isn't that cute? And I love this happy birthday sentiment. The font on this is just so super cute. And not to mention, there's that little guy that I like so much. This one is a Celebration Host set. So I will as you know, if you do a party or you do a large party, or you have a party, or you put in a large order, you earn hostess rewards. Those hostess rewards go into, you can order, let me grab my catalog here because I can show you that in the back of the catalog we have all of these cutesy little things that are set up as just for hosts. So if you place an order $150 or more, you earn the ability to order from here, and it's subtracted from your host points. But look at those cute stamp sets. Now these are, like I said, these are for $150 or more. I think, let me see here. I want to say there's one in the, yep. And so here's the one that's out of the occasions catalog. So this is another one that for $150, as a matter of fact, here's the breakdown for that right here. $150, you get 10% of your sales in Stampin' Rewards, and you're able to order from the host stamp sets. Now, this celebration, they're doing something a little bit fun and a little bit different, because they brought out the Little Ladybug Celebration host set. Now, this one is completely free. Well, it's free when you order an order that is $300 or more. So, not only do you get the $300 worth of stuff, let me break this down to you. Celebration, wait, what? So, Celebration is here from January, the beginning of January-ish. I think this time was the 3rd, sorry, January 3rd, through March 31st. For every $50 you spend before tax and shipping, you are able to get a level 1 celebration item for free. So this one is a level 1, and it's marked here. You see it with free with $50. And then we also have ones, those are more, that are free with $100 purchase. So $100 purchase gets you either 1 level 2 or 2 level 1s. And if I misspeak, I'm sorry. Tongue twisters here. But so not only, if you're doing the $300 order, not only are you going to be getting this for free, you're going to be able to pick any combination of 3 level 1s or 6 level 2s, or whichever way you can finagle that, you know, one level 2 and 4 level 1s, or yeah, you see what I'm saying here. So this is actually, like I said, is you have to do a sale or a party of $300. Totally worth it though, because I think that this is so darn cute. I love ladybugs. And this is the stamp set that I'm going to be playing around with today for the coffee and the card. And now I'm going to go into really quick coffee and cards for those of you who are going, wait a second, what is a coffee and a card, and how much is it going to cost me? My coffee and a cards are, I meet up at either at a local coffee shop here in this general vicinity, or I go to, or everybody comes to my place. Come to my place, it is basically completely free. You come in, you get to play with stamp sets. We'll do a simple stamping card, and get you just kind of familiar with the stamp set and the products and such. Now, if we meet at a coffee shop somewhere, I'm going to ask you to please buy something, whether it's a drink or a snack or whatever, from that coffee shop, because just for the fact that we're taking up their space. So yes, so that is the deal with the coffee and the card. And I picked up, apparently, I grabbed a dirty card base. But that's fine. I've got many a card bases, so we're all good. So, yeah, so I would encourage you to come out and meet me if I'm in an area that you can get to and such. Today I was going to go out to a nice little spot in Orfordville, Wisconsin, and it's called The Haven. It's super cute, and the owners are so friendly. Yes. So that's one of my favorites to go to. So, yes, so I do like the simple stamping card. This is a way so that people also, if you're not used to stamping or you are unfamiliar with it, you can see what I do and you can see what it's all about. And you can see that it is possible to do it kind of simply, but I generally try to have a couple of step-up cards. So with a step-up card, the simple stamping is like basic and it's a beginner's type of card. Stepping it up, we could be using anywhere from die cuts to embossing folders, the embossing powders and guns and the heat gun and the whole 9 yards, and you can get some pretty fantabulous cards. But when you're a newbie, you see those fantabulous cards, like I saw this card, and I'm thinking, I can't do that. Where is it? That wasn't the one that was done. You're seeing cards like this and you're like, oh wait, I can't do that. There's no way I am going to be able to do this. Yeah. So it's a little bit of a step in, and it's about showing everyone that they are completely able to do this. And it's just a matter of starting off simple and getting your feet wet, or start getting those fingers inky, and you're able to see, hey, I can do this, and it goes on. Now, I'm going to get on to stamping because I've probably yapped a little too much, and everybody's like, okay, where is the card, Barbie? Where is the card? So today I'm going to use StazOn ink. This stamp pad is alcohol based. So it's just for those that may not know. So if I'm saying something and just like, really, Barbie, I know this. StazOn, for newbies, StazOn is the alcohol-based ink pad. We have the Memento Tuxedo Black, and this is a water-based ink. So if you're using blends, when you step up and you're using blends, you want to use your Memento for that. But saying that I'm going to be bringing out the water-based Stampin' Write markers, I am going to be using the StazOn today. And let me show you this. This is a little trick I found out from my upline. Because your StazOn is alcohol based, you need to keep this cutesy little cover that's inside it. Let me see if my saddle brown is probably loose. So it comes with this little cover on it. So to give it that little extra protection from being dried out while it's sitting. And so you're going to be prying this off, and you're going to be getting yourself StazOn, and StazOn definitely does exactly what its name says. It stays on. It is basically a permanent marker. So I saw this and I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to do that. I just have 3 dimensionals on here between the lid and the little plastic piece, and that makes it so that I just open it up and off pops that lid, so I'm not getting all StazOn all over my fingers. Hopefully that's the way it works. Now, inking up could be completely different. So I want to ink up my flower here quick. And gonna go ahead. I want it kind of off of my paper, so I'm gonna mess up my puppies, I think. And there's that. And then I'm going to be stamping this ladybug, the one that's flying around. I'm going to stamp this one off, or actually I will put him, because I did not mock up this card yet, so I'm just going to kind of fly. So I'm going to put him directly on the paper, flying around up on top. Now, I went and I decided I was going to use another one. I'm going to use him. Pull him off the block because I need this block now. And then on a scrap piece of paper, I'm going to go ahead and stamp this guy because I'm going to adhere him onto the card by himself. Now that's all my stampy. So I have the flower and the flying ladybug directly on this paper, and then on this paper I have him, and I'm going to fussy color him in and fussy cut him out. So this is how I store my Stampin' Write markers. These cases are available to order. You can just buy a 4-pack, I want to say it is, of these, and it keeps all the markers all nice. And I have them grouped up in their color collections. So I'm going to start off by using my Real Red. And don't forget, you color from lightest to darkest. It's something I don't have to really worry about right now because of the fact that I am not going to be using more than a couple of colors. Actually, I do, because I want to color the inside yellow. So I'm going to start off actually with the crushed curry, now that I'm thinking about this. And I'm going to stick with this one color family, just to make it a little bit easier, so you're not having to like, oh my gosh, I have to buy all of this. No. And so I'm going to go in and I'm going to color in, and you don't want to press very hard with these markers because they are rather juicy at first, and you don't want to also break your tip on your marker because that just kind of ruins the day. And now his little leg, I'll have his little legs red, yellow. And this is where I usually generally say, and by the way, I am not an art major, so if you want to color these in or you think that they need to be colored in a different way, color them in a different way. Like I said, not an art major. And so I also want to kind of get his face a little, I think. Like I said, not an art major. And the next time I color him, I might totally feel, hey, you know what? I think I'm going to color him pink or blue or purple. The joys of cartoon characters. And then I'm going to color in this little guy while I have the marker out too. And I hit the inside of the flower if you didn't notice that one. So yeah, so we've been getting quite a bit of snow lately, and I'm already ready for the crocus to start popping up out of the snow. It's like, where are you guys? And then I am going to go on to the Real Red, and the same kind of deal. I'm not going to press down too hard. I'm just going to lightly go over it. And if you see how light I am pressing this, it's like I'm not even touching the paper almost. It's that kind of crazy and easy to color with these. And this is coming from the newbies standpoint, or showing this to newbies. We love newbies. Newbies are, everybody needs to be a newbie at some point in time. And I only have blends right now because they were handed down to me. So like I said, I started off with ink pads and blender pens. And blender pens give you a little bit of a lighter coloring than, well, a lighter coloring than working straight with markers. But I wanted to show off my markers. And sometimes that subtle look for the blender pen is something that you would want instead of a vibrant, kick you in your face color. Trying to stay in lines here as best as possible. And I guess there is a way to refill your markers if your markers dry up. I have not had to try it yet. And I think, quite honestly, I would probably try it instead of going out and buying a marker set again. But, yeah. And not all markers are created equal as far as the stamping world goes. So I actually like the Stampin' Up! Markers because I think they come out a lot nicer and a lot more even. A lot of them you can see the streaks, and I haven't tried the blends too much. That's my next challenge to myself, is to start with the blends. And I'm still coloring in. And everyone's going, seriously, Barbie, coloring in? We know how to color. But this is giving you an idea of what coffee and a card looks like, as far as if you were to meet me at my house or at a local coffee shop. And you are able to then also do this fun stuff, which is something that I couldn't do today for this. I'm sorry. And that's another thing I wanted to say too, is I'm sorry because I had this planned and I thought that I had posted it on my pages, and when I went to go and inform everybody that it was going to be moved to my house, excuse me, I realized I never posted it. Oops. So, for that I am sorry. I apologize to you. But for next time, I will have it listed, so then that way I can say, oops, by the way. And I was going to move it to here, and that was the thing that I was already talking about when I realized that the weather was going to be not so nice. Move it to here so that I can still see people. But my husband left for work this morning, and after he left for work, the plow came by, and I have a snow boulder at the end of my driveway. I have no clue how my husband is going to get into the driveway. He is going to have to park in the driveway, walk, get the snowblower, just so that he can get into the driveway. Whoops. And so now that I have these all nice and colored in, and you've heard me yap for a few minutes, I'm going to go ahead and fussy cut these guys out. These are the Stampin' Up! Snips. And they are pretty much the same price that you buy snips in the, like in a, when you would go and buy it off the shelf. The only difference is these are really, I love the tips on these guys. Like, look at that. I actually have seen demonstrators bleed because of these, so you have to be careful with them, but they are definitely not for children, but they are really, I think, the best ones. And if you are unfamiliar with fussy cutting, the deal is to let the paper move and not the scissors. So you go in and it all is up to you how close or far away you want to get, how much space you want to leave. There's no by the book, you're supposed to be this you're supposed to be this far away and you're supposed to leave this much amount of white. No. There's nothing like that. So if you wanted to get right up on him and cut him out, like seriously cut him out, go for it. I personally like to leave a little bit of a spot of a edge, just for the fact that I'm not worried that I'm going to be cutting off any of his, like in this case, I could see really easily where you could cut an antenna off. And I mean, I think it makes more sense for your ladybug to have an antenna. And it depends on how much time you have and how much fiddling you want to spend, if you want to get in between his antenna or not. I probably will here in a second. I'm giving myself some time to decide if I really want to do that today. And that's another thing too. Oh my goodness. Between having colds, children having colds, husband having colds, and the snow, it has just been a crazy January so far. So that's what I have so far, and I think I am going to go in and get the stuff away from his antenna. So I will show you how awesome these snips are, because I'm getting right in there, and then you can always use your tip of your snips to get any like kind of fine tuning. But like I said, it's all up to you. I am not particularly that picky today. I just want to get some more of this white off of him. And so, see, you can snip right in there. See, see, see. Probably not the best I could have done with fussy cutting today, but, and now dimensionals. All of my dimensionals. And you could stamp a saying on the outside. I'm just going to leave him blank today. Oh, I see. Hi, Mary. I don't know how long you've been there. I haven't looked up to see my screen. And I'm going to pop him on there. And there is a simple stamping card that I would make for my coffee and a card. And the coffee and the card that is now online. So, I am going to keep up with my postings as to what I'm going to be up to in my classes that I'm going to be doing. And I am going to make sure that from now on I post when I'm going to be having my coffee and cards. Besides, wait a second, it's going to be bad. Let me say, oops, that's not there. So, with that, I hope that you guys are all safe out there if you are deciding to venture out in my area, because it looks pretty nasty to me. And like that big snow boulder that I have, a snow boulder at the end of my driveway that is seriously bigger than both of my dogs put together. So like I said, I don't know if my husband's gonna get in the driveway. Yes, there are, for demos, there are die cuts available, so you don't have to do all that fussy cutting, right? It would make it so much easier. I'm not sure. Are they going to be coming out for customers? I think they are later, because demos get our stuff. We can order stuff prior to customers so we can show them off. But yes, I do have to get the die cuts for these because they are super cute. So yes. And so next week, yes, they are available in February. I see a delay, I think. But as far as next week, weather permitting, I am going to be having a Valentine's Day. I'm getting ahead of myself and thinking it's a happy birthday one, but that's February. January 25th, I am going to be having a Valentine's Day class here at my house. So yes. Well, stay safe out there, guys, if you decide to venture out. And thank you so much for joining me or tuning in after this is all said and done and ended and now a video. I'm also going to be posting this on YouTube here later on today, I believe. And so, yes. So keep an eye on my events and come and see me. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.